I went to my landlord's house to ask him why he hasn't asked us for rent in 5 years, where I stayed with my roommates. When I arrived, I saw a side door and the lock was not fastened, so I decided to take a look at it. To my greater surprise, I saw a statue with our faces that he venerated. If you live in a house where the owner is too nice, run away. Run very far. My name is Ella. I live in an apartment with my roommates. Our owner, Baba Dudu, is the nicest man in the world. In fact, that's what we thought. For 5 years, Baba Dudu did not collect a single shilling of rent. Every time I went to see him with money, he would smile and say, "Ella, my daughter, keep the money. The economy is tough. Just buy me some schnapps and cola for my prayers." We called him God's envoy. We prayed for him. But I began to notice a pattern. Since we stopped paying rent 5 years ago, our lives have changed. We lost our jobs that we did during the day at the bank. My fiancé left me for a woman who was not his special. Guess what? They are married. Daniela's, my roommate's, boyfriend is insane. We started to have strange diseases that the doctors can't explain. We weren't the only ones, in fact. Mama Didi, room 4, she used to sell clothes. Now she begs for Gary. Papa Ugo, room 1, he had 3 cars. Now he walks barefoot. We are all broke, sick, and at a standstill, but we have a free rent. Yesterday, Baba Dudu went to his village for a festival. He forgot to lock the heavy iron door of his prayer hall, the side door. He always told us, "Never enter this room. The angel of the Lord is here." Curiosity is a dangerous thing. We waited until midnight. We walked on our toes to the owner's apartment. We pushed the door to check what is inside because the first time I saw it, I was alone and I was afraid, so I did not look well. The door opened. We expected to see Bibles or perhaps a sanctuary. What we saw made our legs shake like a leaf in a harmattan wind. The room was dark, lit only by red candles. In the room, on the floor, arranged in a circle, were 10 clay dolls. Each doll had a name label. We saw Mama Didi. The doll was tied with rags. We saw Papa Ugo. The doll's legs were broken. Papa Ugo had a stroke last month. And then we saw ours. Our dolls were wrapped in a black nylon bag. There was a padlock through the mouths of these dolls. This explains why every time you go to a job interview, you stutter and lose your voice. But the scariest part was what was in the center of the circle. A big calabash filled with money. New 1,000 naira bills. Baba Dudu did not collect us free rent. He collected our fate as rent. He locked our progress into these dolls and in exchange gave us a roof over our heads to suffer. I wanted to crush the doll. I raised my hand to take it. Suddenly, a voice spoke from the corner of the room. It was not a human voice. It sounded like a goat's bleating. "If you break it, yuk bai." I turned around. A large black cat was sitting on the owner's chair. He was staring at us with human eyes. "Touch her, Ella," said the cat, "and your madness will be complete." We ran. We left the room, the complex, and in the street. We didn't stop running to a level. My phone is ringing. It's Baba Awani. He knows. My phone kept ringing. I didn't answer. We stood under a flickering streetlight, shaking, breathing like people who had outrun death. Daniela was crying. My hands were numb. None of us spoke, because speaking would make it real. The phone stopped ringing. Then a message came in. "Baba Dudu, my daughter Ella, why did you enter my prayer room?" My blood ran cold. Another message followed immediately. "You people are ungrateful. I sheltered you when life wanted to scatter you. Now you want to destroy what keeps you alive." Daniela screamed and threw her phone away. Her screen had lit up by itself. Unknown caller. We ran again, this time to Enable's compound. We sat on the bare ground till morning, afraid to blink. At dawn, we gathered courage and returned to the compound with 2 pastors from a nearby church. The iron gate was open. The building looked normal. Too normal. We rushed to Baba Dudu's apartment and pushed open the door to the prayer hall. The room was empty. No candles, no dolls, no calabash. Only one thing remained, a large wall mirror, and written on it, in charcoal, "You cannot leave what you are paying for." Suddenly, Mama Didi screamed from outside. We ran to her room. She was on the floor, shaking violently, pointing at the ceiling.
"There's a rope on my neck," she cried. "Can't you see it?" There was nothing there, but she couldn't breathe. Papa Ugo collapsed minutes later, foaming at the mouth. The pastors began to pray. Nothing happened. Then one of them froze. He turned slowly and whispered, "This is not a house problem. This is a covenant." We didn't understand. He explained, "Some people don't collect money. They collect destiny. As long as you stay on that land, you are feeding what was buried there." My chest tightened. "Buried where?" I asked. The pastor looked down at the ground. "Under the house." That was when we heard it. Knock, knock, knock. From beneath the floor, my phone buzzed.
My phone buzzed again. This time it was a voice note. Baba Dudu's voice, calm, smiling. "Ella, my daughter, you people ran, but you didn't move out. The house has already eaten your names. Tonight, one of you will remember what you paid for." The knocking grew louder. Then Daniela screamed. Her shadow on the wall was moving, but she was standing still. I didn't sleep that night. None of us did. We stayed in a small provision shop near the road till morning, sitting on empty crates, watching the sky change color, like people waiting for judgment. No screams, no shadows, just silence. Heavy, watching silence. By 6 a.m., we made a decision. We would move out immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, that morning. We went back to the compound with borrowed strength. The building stood there like it always had. Paint keeling, generator humming somewhere, normal tenants sweeping. If you didn't know, you would think nothing was wrong. But we knew. As we packed our things, strange things started happening. Small things, but wrong. My box refused to close no matter how many times I tried. Daniela couldn't find her ID card. It later appeared inside a sealed bag. Mama Didi kept forgetting what she was holding, staring at her hands like they belonged to someone else. By noon, a moving van arrived. That's when Baba Dudu returned. He walked into the compound quietly, wearing the same white kaftan, smiling like a man coming back from a wedding. Tenants greeted him respectfully. "My children," he said warmly, "why the hurry?" Nobody answered. He looked at our boxes, then at me. "Ella," he said softly, "did I not tell you to wait for me?" My throat dried up. "I'm leaving," I said. "We all are." He sighed, almost sadly. "You people think rent is only money," he replied. "Everything in this life is paid for. You stayed, you benefited. Now you want a refund." The driver started loading the van. That was when Papa Ogo screamed. He collapsed, clutching his chest. Not like before. This time it was different. His eyes wide, fixed on Papa Dudu. "You promised it would stop," he shouted weakly. "You said once the house was full." Baba Dudu's smile disappeared. "Ah," he said quietly. "You have spoken too much." The pastor we brought yesterday stepped forward. "This man has no power over them," the pastor said firmly. "They are leaving." Baba Dudu turned to him. "Pastor," he replied calmly, "do you know why churches don't last on this land?" The pastor froze. "Because prayers don't cancel agreements they didn't sign." Suddenly, the moving van refused to start. The driver tried again and again. Nothing. Then my phone rang. It wasn't Baba Dudu. It was my former bank manager, the one who fired me months ago. "Ella," he said nervously, "your name came up in an audit. If you don't come in today, this could turn into something serious." Daniela's phone rang too. Her boyfriend's number, the one who died. She dropped the phone immediately, shaking. Mama Dudi began to cry. "I just want peace," she said. "Please." Baba Dudu looked at us with something close to pity. "You don't leave this house with boxes," he said. "You leave with permission." Then he did something terrifyingly normal. He brought out a notebook. "Those who want to go," he said, "must settle what they owe." I swallowed hard. "How much?" I asked. He looked at me. "Not money," he replied. "One of you must stay." Silence fell. The compound was suddenly too quiet. Birds stopped chirping. Then Daniela spoke. "I'll stay." We all turned to her. "Don't," I whispered. She smiled weakly. "I'm already gone," she said. "At least let one of you escape." Baba Dudu nodded slowly. "Good girl." The gate opened by itself. The engine roared to life. As we drove away, I looked back. Daniela stood beside Baba Dudu waving. But her shadow didn't move. It stayed behind, stretched across the compound floor. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm writing this from my aunt's house. Life is slowly returning. Jobs, sleep, peace. But every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., my phone vibrates. No calls, no messages, just one thing on the screen. Rent is due. I tried to pretend it was over. 3 weeks passed, then 4. I got a temporary job at a microfinance office. I started sleeping again, not deeply, but enough to function. My aunt's house felt safe. Prayers every morning, radio summons, neighbors who knew my name. Still, every night at 2:17 a.m., my phone vibrated. No sound, no caller ID. Just the same words on a blank screen. Rent is due. I changed phones. The message followed. I changed SIM cards. It followed. One night, I powered the phone off completely. At 2:17 a.m., the phone turned itself on. That was when I knew. Distance had not broken anything. It had only stretched it. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. My aunt called me into the sitting room, holding a brown envelope. No return address, my name written carefully in pencil. Inside was a single key. Rusty, heavy, familiar. I hadn't seen it in years, but my body recognized it before my mind did. The key to my old room. My legs went weak. At the bottom of the envelope was a note. Some tenants don't leave, they only travel. That same evening, Daniela's mother found me. She came unannounced, eyes swollen, voice tired. She appeared to me in a dream, she said. She said I should tell you she is still paying. My mouth went dry. Paying what? The woman looked at me strangely. Rent. That night, for the first time, I answered the vibration. I opened the message. A new line appeared under the familiar words. Come and sign out properly. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I took a bus to the old area, heart pounding like it was trying to escape first. The compound looked smaller than I remembered. The gate was open. Always open. Baba Dudu was sitting outside, reading a newspaper. He smiled when he saw me. Welcome home, Ella. I didn't come to stay, I said, my voice shaking. I came to end it. He folded the newspaper carefully. Nothing ends with acknowledgement, he replied. You people ran, Daniela stayed. Balance was restored, but not completed. What do you want? I asked. He stood up slowly and pointed to the building. Go to your room. My room smelled untouched, like time had paused. My bed was neatly made. On the small table sat a ledger, open. Inside were names. Tenants. Dates. Next to each name, one word was written repeatedly. Paid. 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 Beside Daniela's name, the page was still blank. Baba Dudu stood at the door. She's tired, he said softly. The house wants rotation. I understood then. No rituals. No dolls. No blood. Just people. Staying too long. Paying slowly. I won't stay, I said. And you can't force me. He nodded. You're right. I can't. He placed the key in my hand. But someone must always choose. The house creaked. Just once. In my phone, a new message appeared. Transfer tenancy? Yes? / no. My hands shook. If I press no, Daniela stayed. If I press yes, I closed my eyes and pressed yes. The air shifted, like a deep breath released. Baba Dudu stepped aside. It's done. You're free. I ran. I didn't look back. That was 2 months ago. The messages stopped. My life stabilized. Yesterday, while scrolling online, I saw an advert. Self-contained for rent, very cheap, landlord is kind. The location looked familiar. The comments were full of excitement. One name stood out among the new tenants. LIA. I don't remember applying. But tonight, at 2:17 a.m., my phone vibrated again. One message. Welcome. Please keep the place clean.